Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another edition of the Gentleman's Corner. And tonight I have for you beef, or I guess it's O-beef. I don't know which way you prefer it.
Yeah, O-beef, YT, beef. I usually just go by beef on my channel.
All right, excellent. So, beef, thank you for spending some time to take, do this little interview with me here. I appreciate it. And
absolutely.
I'm going to kind of start out the same way that I start out with every single one of these, which is asking you the same question: who or what inspired you to YouTube or do YouTube, and why?
Well, originally I started YouTube back in the prehistoric days, I guess you can call it. This was back when YouTube was meant for vlogs and stuff like that, and sharing family moments and stuff like that. I didn't really intend on posting video games at all at first. It was just one of those things where it's like, hey, maybe I can post a few videos of me playing guitar and stuff like that, because I'm very musically, I guess you can call active in my life. You know, I'm looking for a career in music and stuff like that. So I originally intended it to be about music and stuff like that, and playing some music, but then eventually I came to a point in my life where it's like, I have more to life than music. Even though I love music, it's kind of like I can share more, and it all started with me seeing a guy named Hutch, and Hutch was like the OG sniper for Call of Duty 4. I remember watching all his videos, and I was never a sniper actually. I just enjoyed watching his videos and him playing COD. I never hooked on the Nanners or any of those guys. It was just Hutch. And eventually from Hutch, on one of Hutch's videos, I saw a guy comment on that video, and his name was the Mark of J. And that guy basically branched out into all of the content I do today. The Mark of J basically inspired everything that I do today. Obviously commentating styles and stuff like that. That comes from other YouTubers, small YouTubers, bigger YouTubers. But overall, it all branches from the Mark of J, I would say.
Okay. Now, the Mark of J is what I would call one of the probably best, one of the best pub stompers there is out there. He's ridiculous.
One of the best running gun players.
One of the best running gun players, absolutely. Do you think that because people say, oh, if you play enough you can get that good. Do you think it's something where it's just enough practice, or do you think it's his skill and his reactions are just better than other people's?
He's like a ninja, man. He's like a ninja. He is like that kind of reactions. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, obviously, with practice and stuff like that, like you see the MLGs are good, and with a lot of practice. But with the Mark of J, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, it's just kind of raw instinct kind of thing. Like, it's just kind of like that animalistic kind of instinct of Call of Duty in his blood, it seems like. I remember that he took a break a while back from Call of Duty. He was off from Call of Duty for 6+ months.
Right.
He came back, and he was not just good. Some might say he was arguably better than he was beforehand.
Do you think he stopped playing that whole time, or do you think he just didn't?
He stopped. Because the reason I say that is because I remember during that time he was bulking up. He was bulking out, like, physically, like he was doing a lot of working out. And I know that he would post this on Twitter and stuff like that, and he'd say, I'm bulking up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm constantly working out and stuff like that. And I think I really genuinely believed him. I don't think he was playing at all.
You just think that he set the controller down and was done for a while or whatever.
Well, I mean, I think we all need to do that sometimes with COD, right?
I agree 100%. I think right now is that time for me. I think I've maybe played like an hour of COD in the last 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just returning to the old ones, man. I'm going through literally every old Call of Duty. Every old one of the books.
Alright, so here's a question. What was the first Call of Duty that you started with?
The original Call of Duty. The absolute original. Not just Call of Duty 4, the original one.
The World War I version of Call of Duty. Was it World War II?
I think it was World War II. World War II. But it was the original Call of Duty, and I played it on the GameCube, and I played the original Call of Duty on the GameCube, Call of Duty 2 on the GameCube, and Call of Duty 3 on the GameCube, I think. I think it was either on the GameCube or the Wii, one or the other. It was one of those things where it's like I wasn't really hardcore into Call of Duty at the time, but I really did love the storylines. And then eventually with COD 4, that's when I picked up the multiplayer side, obviously. And that time, actually, I went onto the PC at that point. And actually, I skipped over World at War, because I was so hooked on COD 4.
Right. I think that happened to a lot of people. They were like, well, it went back to World War II. I don't want to do that. And
Yeah, it's like once I go to Back to the Future, it's like I have to appreciate the future, man. I don't want to go back.
Right. And so a bunch of people say that COD 4 was the best COD. Now, personally, I started World at War. I never even played COD 4 until after Ghosts had already been out. Like I just recently played it for the first time ever. Do you think that COD 4 was the best COD in terms of multiplayer?
I definitely think that it has its good aspects. But the thing is about it is that I'm never willing to go as far as saying this or that Call of Duty game is the best Call of Duty game. I am willing to say that this or that game is the worst Call of Duty game. I'll easily admit that Ghosts is the worst Call of Duty game ever made. But that's a different story. But anyway, I think that every good Call of Duty game, or quote-unquote good Call of Duty game, has its good elements. You have Black Ops 2, it has the competitive play and the streaks that I really loved. Black Ops 1, I loved the overall flow of the game, the maps, the gun selection, the overall guns themselves, I like the guns. And then you had COD 4, it was simplicity, it was easy and it was simple. And I think that all of those games had their own different elements that made them great in their own individual ways, and I feel like it doesn't come down to which game's better, it comes down to personal preference. My preference is honestly 3 games. I loved Black Ops 2, COD 4, and Black Ops 1. Those were my 3, games. But I loved them all for different reasons. I loved COD 4 because of its simplicity, I loved Black Ops 1 because of its flow, and I loved Black Ops 2 because it gave me clips for montages.
Right. Now, in terms of your channel, most of what it is Call of Duty. I think you have a little bit of Titanfall and a few other things here and there.
Back things up. No Titanfall for me.
Oh.
Like I do play Titanfall. I did play Titanfall, but and I did post it on my channel. Yes, you're right about that, but not a fan of the game.
Not a fan. So, all right. So there was a huge amount of hype in the game. Now, I got to play it during an alpha. My cousin got an alpha key, and I kind of was just playing around with it, and I thought it was okay. But I was thinking, that's the alpha. And then I got the beta on PC, and I thought it was just okay. Do you think that between now and the time where they release the second one or whatever, when it's available for all the systems, because they said they were going to do that, do you think it'll be a better game?
No. It will not be a better game, and the reason I say that is it's only as good as a game as the community thinks, right?
Right.
And let's be honest. I'm going to put my money on that within the next 2 years that either Sledgehammer Games or Treyarch is going to come out with a good Call of Duty for once.
Right.
Okay, so, and then you have to think, Respawn's only one studio. How long are they really going to take to release that next game? How long really are they going to take? I mean, are they going to take 2 years, 3 years? We know the guys who made GTA 5, Rockstar, that took them like, what, 5-6 years to make another GTA game?
Right.
Like,
now, to be fair though, they set their following with the first couple of GTAs. They have the luxury of kind of spreading that out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They have the luxury of spreading it out. But the thing about Titanfall is that we don't know how they're gonna spread it out yet. Right. It's a new company, it's a new game. There's only one developer. They're not like they have like 3-4 different developers. So I'm just going to take it one step at a time. I'm not going to jump the boat and say that Titanfall is going to be the best game that comes out somewhere in the near future. I'm still saying that COD is the main dominant first-person shooter, not because it's the best first-person shooter, but because it's the most popular one.
Right. Now, I thought that Titanfall would be good for a couple things. I thought that it would actually give Call of Duty a run for its money, and that would make the developers of Call of Duty do a better job in development. That was what I was hoping.
Yeah.
Do you think that as things like Battlefield 4 get better and some of the other things that are out there, you can obviously see that it's pulling people away from the Call of Duty franchise? Do you think they're just doomed, or do you think that there is an upswing that's coming?
There's an upswing that's coming, but it's not as the way that but they're not going to get it the way that Activision thinks they're going to get it. They're not going to get it by new innovations. If they want to be successful, they want to bring back that crowd, they have to go back.
Right.
And honestly, I am not against literally re-releasing remastered versions of the old Call of Duties on the next-gen consoles. I'm not against it. Because I feel like that if you release them for, say, $20, hey, even $30, I mean, I'd buy it. And I don't know anybody else who wouldn't buy a remastered version of Call of Duty 4. A remastered version of it. If you played Call of Duty 4 at its prime, you would want to play the newly remade, remastered version of COD 4.
Now, so here's the thing. There's a lot of people that never played COD 4, but they hear, oh, it was the best COD or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, like, for instance, on PlayStation 3, it's hacked to shit. I played, like, 3 games, and I was like, I just can't deal with it. It seems like, for some reason, on Xbox, there's a little bit more support, and it's not as bad.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
And I think it's just that it's one of those things where it's like, more people play on the Xbox in the first place, I think.
Right.
So I think, like, when you go on YouTube and you look up videos of people playing on COD 4 today, mm-hmm. I think, like, I have actually posted some COD 4 gameplay recently, and it wasn't a hacked lobby. And it wasn't because it was on the Xbox 360, it was just because I lobby surfed until I found a lobby that wasn't hacked.
And you just kind of stick with it, try to stick with it.
Yeah, and I mean, eventually honestly, I became the host, and I did not leave for, like, I think 3 straight hours, because I was just soaking it in. Because I'm pretty sure that it's pretty hard to hack if you're not the host.
Right, I know there's some ways to kick the host so that you can be the host, but yeah, you're right. I think if you're the host, that's where the hacks come from. I don't know, I'm not a hacker.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Now, so your channel, believe it or not, I actually found it a long time ago and I subscribed, but YouTube does that thing that it does.
Unsubscribes people.
Right, It just unsubscribes people. I found you actually through a friend of a friend, and I didn't remember until a couple days ago when I started looking through some of your videos, because I normally do like a little research on the person.
Yeah.
So Kaiser Zoze did a video on your channel.
Oh, that's my boy. Yep.
Yeah, he's friends with Azazel. I don't know if you know who Azazel is. So it's weird how there's these little connections.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of connected in some way, and this is actually something that I wanted to talk about, actually, in this interview. I was actually doing this little experiment with, and I saw this guy on YouTube, and he was, like you said, a friend of a friend, okay? And so I didn't know him, and he didn't know me at all. But I was like, yo, this dude has some pretty good content, so you know what, I said, I'm gonna go subscribe to him. You know what, actually, no, I want to do this experiment. What I'm gonna do is I'm not going to subscribe to him, and I'm gonna make sure I remember his name, and I'm gonna see how long it takes for this guy to subscribe to me without me bringing any attention to myself to him.
Right.
And coincidentally, 1 month later, that guy subscribed to me. It was amazing. I was like, wow, we really are kind of interconnected in a way, you know? Like, these like ratings and, like, the sharing on Twitter and stuff like that, it's like, people really do see it.
Right. And actually, you know what? I'm thinking about it. It's either Azazel or it's people from the Hardcore Union.
Yeah, the Hardcore Union. Yeah, so, I played with a few of those guys.
Okay, so is that how you know him, or?
No, I actually know him through Diana.
Okay.
And Diana was a part of Justice Pro, and me and Diana are both former members of Justice Pro now, former members, and I met Kaiser through Diana, and that's how it kind of works.
See, that's weird because I didn't know you were part of Justice. I actually just recently I was a Justice judge until just recently.
Yeah, same.
So that's weird.
Yeah.
Look at those. Like, it's all the connections.
Yeah. Oh, man. See, it's all connections. It's politics, man. It's politics. You gotta know somebody who knows somebody.
That's right. So, it's weird. I think that I'm in this group of people who all have this very positive outlook, because that's what I like to surround myself with. I mean, there are some very negative people that are out there.
Absolutely.
But it seems like there's this group of people who always are kind of pushing this positivity, like... Jive Turkey. Some people say, well, he's always complaining. It's not that. He really loves the Call of Duty game like Thunder does. And it's not that they complain, but they're disappointed in some of the things.
Yeah, they just want to make it better. It's kind of like when you're a parent to a kid. It's like, I'm disappointed in you. It's not like they hate them. It's not like they're going to send their kid on the street because they, like, pushed over a glass of milk on the table. I mean, it's not like that. I mean, they're disappointed in them because they want to make them better. Absolutely.
Do you think that... I think, personally, that there's this positive movement in YouTube. It was a very negative place for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that there is this group of people that are trying to push this real positive environment in YouTube. People like Biblical Reaper and Diana and Fig Coink. I don't know if you know who Fig is.
Nope.
Capo, which I've had both of them on.
Yeah, Capo.
Yeah. I've had both of them on the Gentleman's Corner before, but I like that positivity. And some people are like, oh, it's just everybody liking each other's video. No, it's like positive feedback, and there's people are saying, hey, I really liked what you did here. Maybe you should try this. Like, I know when people come and leave me suggestions on my video, for the most part, I can take what they say and learn something from it.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if that's like, if it's a movement right now. I think it's just like as you and me and all these other guys who are in YouTube, as we kind of become more I guess you can call, into the Call of Duty community and into the YouTube gaming community as a whole, we kind of like see the dividing lines of this group, and this group.
Right.
Like, obviously, there's the subdivisions, the Minecraft YouTubers, the Call of Duty YouTubers, the NBA 2K YouTubers, the vloggers, you know. But then, now we're starting to see the lines show within the Call of Duty community. Then you have the snipers, and the pub stompers, and this, and then that. And then you have the commentators. And now, within the commentators, you have another branch of, now it's nice commentators and bad commentators. I mean, why can't they all be nice? I don't know why they can't all be nice. But, hey, we live in a world where not everyone's nice, unfortunately, but
right.
I mean, that's how it's gonna have to be, right? I mean, I live in New York. Everyone's jerks here, but hey, I enjoy it. I enjoy people pushing around, because when people push you around, you just push right back here.
All right, well, that's an interesting. I don't know how that would fly down here. I live in Georgia, so.
Ooh, that's like goody two shoes country, isn't it?
No, not really. It just looks like that outwardly. What's funny is we have so many transplants from up north. We have a ton of people who live here from New York, so.
Well, I mean, in Florida, they have a ton.
Yeah,
Florida.
I used to live in Florida too, so.
Half the people in Florida, it seems like, are from New York.
Right.
I mean, I've gone down there a few times, and down the block, it's like you see, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from New York. It's like, you're living in Florida and you're from New York, and it's like, I just asked your neighbor and he's from New York too, and I asked his neighbor and he's from New York. It's like, man. Like, New Yorkers are everywhere, man. You can't avoid them. I'm a New Yorker, and I can tell you that would be a pain in the neck.
What, to live in New York?
Oh,
no. To run into other New Yorkers?
Yeah.
I came down here for vacation.
Yeah, oh, man.
All right, well, it's I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's the weekend. I do want to thank you for being on. For anybody who's watching this, all of the gameplay in the background is Beef's. And I'll put a link to his channel and also to his Twitter in the description. Check him out and subscribe and follow him on Twitter. Do you have anything that you want to say to anybody who's watching this or listening to this?
Yes, I have a special announcement exclusive for the Gentleman's Corner.
Uh-oh.
For 1K subs, this is a set in stone plan right now. I will be having my own podcast.
Really?
Hosted by a disclosed person. I know who it is. You guys don't know who it is, but it's my boy. I'll give you that. And the podcast is actually going to be a 30-minute podcast as opposed to a 2-hour podcast. And it's actually going to be run more like a talk show. And it's going to have a guest, different segments. And instead of seeing the Google Hangout screen, you know, with like the webcams and stuff like that, You're going to be seeing gameplays in the background pertaining with what's being said.
Okay.
And I think that's definitely a very interesting twist on the typical podcast that you're going to be seeing today. So that's something for you guys to watch out for.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesomely amazing. I look forward to it. And well, you've had some excellent growth here in the very recent time frame, and it's well deserved. So I'll be looking forward to that here, and hopefully in the next couple weeks or something.
All right. Thank you very much, my dude. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Have a great night.
You too, man. Much love.
All right. Bye-bye.